What if 80% of your marketing strategy work could be done by AI? Not the creative part, not the vision, the research, the competitor tracking, the reporting, the stuff that takes week but feel like homework. Would you still plan the same way? I wouldn't. And I don't anymore. So here's what's happening right now. Most marketers say they use AI, but here's the thing. Most of them are using it for content, writing emails, generating social posts, summarizing documents, and that's fine. But that's the small stuff. So here's what most teams are missing. AI agents, they can handle the strategic work, the competitive research, the trends reports, the weekly monitoring, the stuff that took hours, days before. Once you see that, you don't go back. Everything changes. You don't need 3 weeks to build a marketing plan. You need 3 hours. And the rest of your time goes to the stuff that actually matters. So if you're rethinking about marketing in 2026, please subscribe to this channel. Those are the topics that we're covering weekly. So here's how I think about it. Marketing strategy has two halves. The easy half is everything AI agent can do now for you. Fast, cheap, and honestly, right now, pretty well. The human half is everything that still needs you because you're you. Your judgment, your test, your relationships, your way to connect with your audience. So let me go through both with you during this video because knowing where the line is, that's the whole game right now. But first, let me get this concrete. So let's say that you are planning Q3. Classic process. You spent a week pulling competitor data, a week on competitive analysis, a few days writing the strategy deck, maybe a few more days. So maybe that's 10 days total. And then you present it, everyone nods, and then 2 weeks into Q3 and we're already off plan just because the market moved and we just didn't get things done on time with enough planning. Here's what changes with this framework that we'll cover today. The competitor data and the performance reports, that's run automatically. You don't have to think about this anymore. It's done for you in real time. So when you sit down to actually plan for Q3, you already have 3 months of trends ready for you. You don't need a research sprint. You need a decision meeting. Based on what we've seen, based on what we've collected, what are we betting on this quarter? And that's it. And that's a completely different conversation. And it takes hours, not weeks. And this is the most important part of the job as well. So right now, let's break down the two halves. The easy half is the 3 main things that AI does very well right now. 1, competitor tracking and briefs. You know how this used to work. So you open 10 tabs, you check your competitor's website, you screenshot their latest email, you forward it to your team with a few FYI, and then maybe we should do this, and then maybe you should do that. And then do you remember what we've discussed actually 2 weeks ago? I cannot remember that I've shared with you an email, but I can't find it anymore. Then actually at the end of the day, nothing happens if you do this manually. Now here's the thing. The tracking part, it's easy, but if you have the right tools. Without it, you're still drowning in just collecting the data part in tabs and in screenshots. The data is out there, but it's scattered across platforms, tabs, and channels. It's hard to collect and it's even harder to analyze. That's why for competitor tracking, I use Panoramata. It's a platform that pulls everything in one place. All your competitors' emails, ads, landing pages, reviews, social posts, and much more. It's collected and organized, not by you, but for you automatically. Then I use Claude or ChatGPT, even better, Codex, to analyze it. Every Monday, I get a brief that says, hey, here's what your competitors did last week. Here's what matters. Here's what doesn't. And here's probably what you should do now. Only that used to take a full day. Now, nobody does it. It's fully automated end to end. But without that layer, without this competitive data set, you're asking AI to guess, to hallucinate. You're asking AI to work with nothing. And that's the part most people skip. And then they wonder why the output of the AI is that generic and not really applicable right away. It's because of the data you're providing to your AI, and you should make sure that it's grounded in exactly what you need and in what's happening in your market right now. The second thing is data analysis and reporting. So how much time does your team spend to pull data to create some reports, building charts, or just formatting the data the right way so actually the chart matches what you're expecting? A few hours at a minimum. But now AI can pull the numbers, spot the trend, and build a report for you. Not a generic report, but one that is specific enough so you can actually identify best practices and next steps when you're planning your marketing strategy. You are still in control. You still decide what to do with the data. But the pulling, the formatting, the data gathering, just to make sure that the data makes sense, the spotting the trends, the comparing, that's done for you. 3, content planning and execution. This one, I love it. Calendar planning, content briefs, first drafts, repurposing one piece into 5 different places, scheduling. All of this is now easy. It's not perfect. You still need to review and make sure to work on this to make sure that it matches exactly what you're looking for. But the starting point, AI gives you 80% of the work done in minutes instead of hours. So that's the easy half. Competitor tracking, reporting, content planning. If you're still spending weeks doing that stuff, the machine can help you. So now here's the half that matters most, the human half, the 3 things that for now, at least, AI can't touch. This is the stuff that AI can't really do for you, and this is where you make a difference. And as it's exactly where you make a difference, it's actually where you should spend most of your time. 1, brand intuition, taste, and connection. Again, AI can generate a lot of options. It takes, we have all seen this. It takes a click and then you can have 20 different subject lines, 30 different LinkedIn posts, just in a click. But it can't really tell you which one feels right for your brand. Truth is, it can become close. It can be really close to what actually matters and what's the closest to your brand, but you own the decision and you should make this decision as well. Why? Also because that's taste. And taste is human. Also because you know your audience at an intimate level and you know what they're expecting, and AI can't actually behave like this. So this is something unique that you truly own, that you should spend time on to really find what's the best option between everything the AI is giving you. And it's more than just picking the right subject line or the right visual. It's the connection, the way you talk to your audience, the inside jokes, the references only your community gets, the tone that makes someone think, oh, that's them, that's my brand, that's my people, that's my folks. Otherwise, you're just another AI brand. And it's not. You're unique, your tone of voice is unique, and you experience this daily, and you're the true decision maker when it comes to this. AI can give you all the options. You pick the one that's actually you, and more importantly, you're the one in charge of developing the bond between you and your audience as well. 2, prioritization and trade-offs. This is the big one. AI can tell you everything you could do, everything you should do. It can generate 50 ideas, 20 campaigns, 50 channel strategies just in a click, and then you can refine them again and again and again and again and again and again. But it can't tell you what to say no to. Saying no is still a human skill. It takes knowing your team's bandwidth, your audience's expectations, how to make things different than what your competitors are doing as well. You know your budget, you know your risk tolerance, what the team cares about during this specific quarter, and the bets that you're willing to make. At the end of the day, you'll own the strategy, you'll own the decision. So that's something that you should do. You're in charge of the prioritization here. AI can help. At the end of the day, you're the one making the decision. And to be fairly honest, the best marketing leaders that I know out here, they're not the one with the most ideas. They're the ones who pick 3, and these are the right ones. And they go all in with the ideas that they've selected. Third, and we've mentioned this already a bit, but ownership. And this is the one that I feel nobody is talking about. We spoke a lot about AGI first led companies now, but AI doesn't own anything. It doesn't own the vision, it doesn't own the product, it doesn't own the relationship with the audience as well. It doesn't own anything legally either, and it doesn't own the outcome as well. So if a campaign fails, AI didn't fail. You did. And that's not a bad thing. It's the point. Where are we going and why? That's you. Did it work? Also you. Everything in between, the research, the execution, the monitoring, that's something that you can give to AI. But end to end, you're still in charge of correctly managing both the AI, the processes, the goals, and the whole execution. The direction and the judgment. Those stay with you. And honestly, they should. So this is the model. This is the whole point of this video as well. Human on both ends and AI in the middle. Okay, so now you get the framework. But here's where most people still get stuck. I see 4 mistakes pretty much everywhere. Mistake 1, giving AI only the details. That's related to the usage of the AI, but it's what we've been taught to do because the models from 1 year, 2 years, 3 years ago, that's what they're basically allowed us to do at the same time. It's when you hand AI small stuff, small tasks. Write this email, rephrase this subject line, give me 10 options to rephrase this paragraph, that kind of stuff. Summarize this call, fix this headline, and that's it. That's using a copilot as a calculator. You're giving it the small stuff and keeping all the hard work for you. You don't have to anymore. The competitor research, don't do this manually. The trends analysis, give the AI the right data to actually help you pull the report and identify the trends right away. You'll be blown away. You'll be amazed by the results that you're going to get if you're using, again, the right tools. So next time, flip it. Give AI the hard work and see how it performs. See what it gets right and what it gets wrong, and iterate with it, with skills, with projects. That's something that we're going to mention in a few minutes as well, because there's a technique that's going to 10x the outputs you're generally getting from AI as well. But give the hard work to AI and see how it gets, see how it performs. Keep the taste, the judgment, and the ownership for yourself. Mistake 2, giving AI, I'm going to say everything at once. It's the opposite mistake. It's when you throw everything at the AI. Here's my whole business, build me a Q2 strategy, please, and fast, and right now, and please be good, and please review your work at the same time because I want to make sure that there are no mistakes here. What you get back here is usually pretty generic because AI doesn't know your brand as much as you do. It doesn't know your team as well as you do. It doesn't know your best customer and what your best customer says about your company as well. AI to work needs structure. You can give this data to an AI and actually make this work and get amazing outputs there, but it needs structure. It needs data sets. It needs a project that clearly defines what's the tone of voice, what's the customer reviews, what our best customers is telling us usually, what you should do with this data, which direction you should go. It needs structure to give you the best possible output as well. And you can actually turn all this energy spent by AI to do these calculations and to make the best use case out of this. So give your goals first, then give it context and structured context, then the specific question. Not even the question, and not at all everything at once, but instead of even just asking a very specific question, give the AI a process with the goals and the context that you've set up in place. It has the goal, let's say, create a Q2 marketing plan to improve our sales, I don't know, 15% versus last year. Then the context, here's the marketing campaigns that we've run last year. Here are our scores. Here's our tone of voice. Here are our priorities this year. Here's what changed since last year. Here's our reviews. We had an interview with one of our best customers a few weeks ago. So here you go. And give them context. Identify clearly which context is for which output. the customer reviews, so you can understand the main proposition values that we have, the tone of voice. Just make sure that when you're writing words, it actually matches this tone of voice file that I'm creating for you. So write down the whole process of, okay, when building the Q2 marketing strategy, it should work this way. You should analyze what we've done previous. You should compare to what the competitors have done as well. What did they do that we didn't? Really map out all the steps in the process, and then you can ask your question, and then the AI can actually do its best work. Do not throw everything at once without context, without structure. Just make sure to put as much context as you can, but in a structured way. And then don't ask a question, map out the process, and unleash your AI. Mistake 3, and that's the whole project skills that everyone talks about recently, and it's in the process, and this is why you shouldn't ask your AI questions at all. For me, this is the big one. Most marketers right now, they still use AI as a chat. They ask a question, they get an answer, we close the tab. That's not how it works anymore. Since a few months now, there are a few tools like Claude Cowork or Claude Code, whatever. ChatGPT Codex as well works the same way, where they can really behave as co-pilots for your marketing strategy. Why? Because you can do exactly what we've mentioned before. You don't ask questions, you map a process, you give them context, you structure this context based on the process that you're defining as well, and then you let the AI does the work. I have a good example for this. Usually when we're using ChatGPT in a chat format, you ask a question, maybe you give them some files so it has a bit of context as well. And then the output of a chat is to give you an answer. So maybe you can see the thinking model that they're thinking 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes. Maybe that's pretty rare though, but 3-4 minutes, I guess on average, if it's a very complicated question, that's the kind of thinking that you're going to get on ChatGPT Web, for instance, or Claude Chat as well is pretty much the same. When you're using Codex or Claude Cowork or Claude Code, you'll see that they are easily spend 20, sometimes 30 minutes accomplishing a single task. Why? Because their goal is not to answer a question, it's to do a work. That's why the whole process that we've had before in terms of using AI, of just asking a question, getting an answer, which led us to summarize this report, rewrite this email, generate 10 different subject lines for this kind of email, it is not the most optimized way to use AI at the moment. The most optimized way is indeed to use a tool that connects to your computer right away. It's very easy to just go on Codex and Claude Cowork. I'm using both because they have a bit, I found, different use cases, but that's going to be for the next video. But I'm using them in very specific folders, and I have mapped processes for pretty much everything that I do in terms of marketing as well. Planning up a partnership, planning a newsletter, setting up LinkedIn posts. It knows exactly what to do, but I'm not asking questions. When I'm talking about LinkedIn, for instance, I give them the creators that I do like on LinkedIn. I give the project my exact tone of voice, all the 50 different posts that I've posted on LinkedIn that I wrote manually myself before, saying, okay, this is the example, this is my tone of voice, I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that. What I also do is I never ever do this kind of stuff, or I never ever use 2 emojis in a row, or I never ever do those clickbaity thing of comment X and you're going to get this in your inbox. So you can define actually a lot of things, give the AI a lot of context in those folders, in those specific processes, and then I'm mapping out the process and I'm saying, okay, when asked to help me on LinkedIn, I want you to review the recent posts by these creators. I identify the hooks, then the angles, then the topics. Then map out the recent posts that I've done, or ask me within the process which topics I'd like to cover as well. And then you can really map the whole process directly within the AI. And at the end of the day, when it's time to actually do the content planning for LinkedIn, for instance, or it's the same if it's an email marketing calendar, you just have to get the system started and it has everything it needs to actually deliver the work right away. And you'll see, and the first time it happens, it's quite amazing that you'll have a system that can just go and think and work for 15, 20, 30 minutes straight without interruption and deliver a work of a quality that is not even comparable to what you will get on ChatGPT chat or Claude chat for that instance. And that's one of the big shifts. Really stop using AI just when you need it. Start working with it all the time. Why? Because this way you're going to be able to feed it more and more context over time too. Again, that's going to be for the next session. We'll have an amazing video on how to take decisions with AI that I'm planning right now. So, marketing planning in time of the AI agents era, what the new process looks like. The old way is you spend 3 weeks on a quarterly basis to, again, look what the competitors have done, what have we done the previous year, what performed, what didn't, what did we do well, what should we improve, and then every step of the process takes a week, data gathering takes a week, competitive analysis takes a few days, then you execute and you don't look at the doc again until next quarter. New way, and this is important, you build processes with AI over time. Each time you publish a new campaign, you use AI at least to log your thought process and the small decisions that you've made there. You connect also the right tools first. For instance, anything that's related with competitive research, Panoramata is your best choice. Claude, Cowork, or ChatGPT Codex for the analysis and the memory and the process mapping over time as well. And then you can actually build this piece by piece. You don't have to do everything at once. Week 1, you can do the competitive analysis piece. Get started on Panoramata, get the right data sets, feed this to the LLM of your choice. Week 2, you add the weekly brief. Week 3, you automate the whole reporting and content generation IDs. And it's not magic. It's a process that you build over time. And the more structure, the more data, the more context you feed to the AI, the best results you're going to get. And here's the key part. Without the right tools connected, this doesn't work. If AI, for instance, doesn't have access to real competitor data, it will not know. It will hallucinate, it will guess, it will give you generic outputs, just words, slop. Once that's running, your planning shrinks to 2-3 hours. It's never been easier. If you've mapped your process correctly, if you gave the AI the correct data sets and the correct processes as well, to really get this done right away. All the things that were hard, were taking time, can now be done in a matter of minutes, and you can spend the time to do what really will transform a good strategy into a great one and a great unique one for your company. Okay, so here's what I do if I had to start this today. 1, audit your last planning process. How much time went to research, monitoring, and reporting? And what's the exact process that people took over time as well? That's the easy half. Just map out the process, make sure that it's clear, and you're going to be able to automate this right away. Write this down, and that's the work you're going to give to the AI. 2, connect the right tools. This is the step most people skip because AI is great at producing words, and when we're reading words, we're like, oh, that's amazing, but it's actually pretty much generic. So if AI doesn't have real data, you won't have real results. So set up Panoramata for competitors tracking, get on Claude Cowork or ChatGPT Codex. They're both fine to really start to set up your project, your processes over time as well. 3, build this process over time. Don't head to the AI only when you have a question. Just when something meaningful happened, go to the AI, and that's what I do. I have a project that is called Second Brain or Consistency, whatever the name. I have a Second Brain project. Each time that I'm taking a small decision or I'm making something marketing-wide, I'm just connecting to the AI saying, hey, I've done this today. Here's my expectations. Just log this as a decision or as something that I've done. Just make sure that it's part of your context because I wrote this myself. Here's the result that I got. Here's the analysis that I just made. Here's something that I've done that I actually believe is good for your context, and I just give this to the AI. I don't have any question. I don't expect any output as well. Just the AI feeds itself of what's really happening within the company, within my process, what I'm really doing in terms of marketing as well. So when I'll have a question, it will have all the tools and all the structured content context for rewrite your process toward the human touch. Direction, prioritization, ownership, connecting with your audience. Those are the things that matter and where you should actually spend time. Spend your time here. That's where you actually can make a difference. If you want to see how I set up the whole competitor automated tracking system, for instance, I'm happy to share this with you. Just go in the description down below and I'll show you exactly how it works. And if you want real data for your business, you can get started on Panoramata as well. Just go in the description down below, click on the link and get started there for free. More than happy. If you want a demo, if you want to hop on a call, just use the link there as well. And let me know in the comments, did it work? Are you able to actually set up your project correctly? Do you have any question? Anything's not clear? Is there another use case that you'd like me to explain using AI? Let me know in the comments. All right, thank you for tuning in, and wherever you are in the world, have an amazing day. Take care. Bye-bye.